At school, Lucas was the least assertive boy you'd ever meet. Even when bullied, he never fought back, always shrinking away from his tormentors. But what no one knew was that this quiet kid who was everyone's target actually possessed incredible superpowers. He had inherited these abilities from his family as a child. After his parents were killed by other superpowered individuals, his grandfather John started intensifying Lucas's training every single day. On one hand, it was to help the boy protect himself, and on the other, to prevent Lucas from meeting the same fate as his father. Now, John had one strict rule for Lucas: never reveal his superpowers in public. But Lucas was just a 9-year-old kid, and whenever he got bullied, he struggled to control his urge to strike back with his abilities. Since ordinary people couldn't accept the existence of superpowers, they often mistook them for freaks. So every time Lucas accidentally revealed his powers, John would move them to a different city to keep their secret safe. To help Lucas learn self-control, John gave him a special rubber bracelet. Whenever the boy felt his anger boiling over, he'd snap the bracelet against his wrist, using the sharp pain to stop himself from using his powers. John was over 100 years old, and he knew his time was running out. Wanting to protect his grandson and give him a normal life, John decided to eliminate these threats himself. Before leaving, he prepared enough food to last Lucas a while and told him, "I'll be back by the time you finish all this." Young Lucas didn't understand why his grandfather had to leave. Praying for John's quick return, he rushed through the food supplies, never expecting he'd ultimately witness his grandfather return critically injured, his superpowers gone, as if drained from his body. 12 years later, Lucas got into college through his own hard work. He never forgot his grandfather's warnings. Whenever the bullying became unbearable, he'd still snap that rubber bracelet against his wrist, using the familiar pain to keep his anger in check and his powers hidden. A constant reminder of the secret he had to keep. Just when it seemed Lucas would live out his life in quiet submission, a phone call changed everything. The village chief informed him that his grandfather's grave had been dug up, and someone had stolen his remains. Standing before the violated grave, Lucas couldn't help but wonder, who would want the bones of someone dead for over a decade? Suddenly, a farm vehicle rumbled into the cemetery, and a strange girl stepped out. To everyone's shock, she introduced herself as Anna, Lucas's half-sister, even producing a photo with their father. Lucas remained skeptical, since his grandfather had never mentioned any sister. He returned home to prepare his grandfather's favorite dishes, planning to pay his respects that evening. But when he returned to the cemetery after dark, he found Anna digging up another grave. Convinced she had stolen their grandfather's remains, Lucas quickly pulled out his phone to gather evidence. In his haste, he forgot to disable the flash, instantly alerting Anna to his presence. What happened next stunned Lucas. He witnessed his first other superpowered individual besides himself and his grandfather. Seeing her abilities, Lucas knew he was outmatched. Within moments, she knocked him out cold. When Lucas came to, a terrifying monster stood over him. Before he could process this, Anna eliminated the creature, which dissolved into mud. What Lucas didn't know was that these monsters were all created from sand and mud by superpowers. Suddenly, more monsters emerged throughout the cemetery. Without time to explain, Anna launched into a brutal fight. The creatures stood no chance against her. Every time he blinked, another monster fell. But Anna noticed something odd. Each monster that dissolved into mud would quickly reform, and their numbers kept growing. Then Anna did the unthinkable. She left Lucas alone in the cemetery, forcing him to face the horde himself. The moment she was gone, the creatures surrounded Lucas. Knowing he'd die if he didn't use his powers, Lucas did something he hadn't done in 12 years. He unleashed his superpowers. A massive lightning strike enveloped the cemetery. When Anna returned to check on the disturbance, all the monsters had turned to mud with no signs of reforming. Lucas, too, had vanished without a trace. Lucas was the most timid guy at school, and he wasn't exactly the kind of guy girls went for. But one night, as he was getting ready for bed, he received a message from a junior named Lily, asking to add him as a friend. Seeing her cute profile picture, it felt like love was on the horizon. When he met Lily in person and she was even prettier than her photos, his heart skipped a beat. She then took his hand and led him into a dark, narrow alley. Just as he started to wonder if she was about to make a move on him, two monsters suddenly appeared, blocking the exit. That's when he realized he'd walked right into a trap Lily had set. His hopes for romance shattered, and a furious Lucas decided to use his own power to teach her a lesson. But Lily was one step ahead. She had already used her own power on him, one that could temporarily control his actions. Before he could react, she forced him into a deep sleep. When Lucas woke up, he found himself in an amusement park. His real opponent, Kaylee, had been waiting there for him all along. Kaylee also had powers. Her ability was to awaken the primal desires within a person. Once those desires overwhelmed their reason, she could seize total control, turning them into an obedient puppet devoid of any humanity. Under Kaylee's influence, Lucas lost all awareness of his actions, becoming completely docile and staying by her side, totally at her mercy. Just as they were about to take Lucas away to steal his power, Anna suddenly arrived. She threw her weapon directly at their vehicle. While it didn't hit anyone, when they started the car to escape, they discovered to their shock that Anna had sliced the vehicle clean in two. Knowing how powerful Anna was, Kaylee and the others scrambled to flee the amusement park. Anna then walked straight up to Lucas, a knife in her hand. Just as Lucas feared she was going to kill him, she used the blade to carefully remove a bug that Lily had planted inside his body, the very thing that had been controlling him all along. Seeing the pinkish, fleshy bug, Anna popped it right into her mouth. She wanted to see if she could experience its controlling effects firsthand, but the insect's influence didn't work on her, and she promptly spat it out. The moment it landed on the ground, the bug crumbled into dry dirt. Soon after, Anna brought Lucas to a delivery company. However, this was just a front. Every employee here was an individual with special abilities. Their public work was delivering packages, but their true mission was to erase any evidence of power-related incidents and repair objects damaged in fights between those with abilities. The company's leader, Jonathan, then invited Lucas to join them and stand against those who used their powers for evil. Lucas refused the offer. He didn't want to expose the fact that he had abilities, but Jonathan knew his grandfather and understood the source of the power in Lucas's bloodline. He explained that 500 years ago, dark matter suddenly appeared on Earth. When absorbed by humans, it granted them powers. Lucas's ancestors had absorbed the purest form of this dark matter. Combined with formal combat training, this allowed them to unleash tremendous power. Because of this, they became targets for others who coveted this pure dark matter, seeking to take it and fuse it with their own to become the most powerful. This was exactly how Lucas's grandfather and parents had lost their lives. Although Jonathan's story clarified the origin of his power and his family's fate, Lucas held onto his grandfather's final warning: never reveal his secret to anyone. So, he still politely declined to join Jonathan's delivery company, wishing only to live an ordinary life. What he didn't expect was that a group of evil individuals with powers would publicly expose his identity online, making him the primary target for all of them. One day, while Lucas was alone in his dorm room, someone knocked on his door. But when he opened it, he found an animated doll monster standing there. A monster that looks like a doll pops up in a college dorm hallway. Lucas thinks it's his roommate playing a prank on him. Just as he's about to remove the doll's headpiece, the monster stuffs him into a sack. Then, the monster takes Lucas away from the school and brings him to a remote area in the suburbs. But surprisingly, the one controlling this monster with superpowers is a 9-year-old girl named Trinity. She and Robert are under orders from their boss to bring Lucas back to headquarters, hoping to learn how to obtain pure dark matter from him. Just as Lucas explains that he doesn't know where the pure dark matter is, 3 monks from the Dragon Tiger Mountain Monastery appear before them. Their goal is to take Lucas back to the monastery. Trinity and Robert are so scared upon seeing them that they can't even speak, because everyone knows the monks of the Dragon Tiger Mountain Monastery are all powerful superpower users. And the monastery's abbot, Carson, is the most powerful among all superpower users. But this time, it's not Carson who has come for Lucas, but his disciple, William. William has an arrogant personality. Upon hearing that Lucas refuses to go with them, he immediately uses his superpowers to activate a secret technique, intending to force Lucas into submission. But Lucas easily blocks his attack, and then cheekily says that since he and William are like family, they shouldn't fight. Just as William is about to angrily refute Lucas's nonsense, Lucas suddenly uses the exact same secret technique. Then Lucas tells him that these secret techniques were taught to him by his grandfather, and he has been practicing them since childhood. So, having the same techniques means they're like family, right? However, William doesn't see it that way. Although these techniques are activated through superpowers, they are the core secrets of the Dragon Tiger Mountain Monastery. He immediately thinks that Lucas's grandfather stole and learned their monastery's secret techniques. At that moment, he believes he should take both Lucas and his grandfather back to the monastery to punish them for stealing the techniques. During the fight between Lucas and William, Lucas never fights back because he always feels that his grandfather and the monastery must have a deep connection. But upon hearing William slander his grandfather for stealing the techniques, he decides to abandon his patient attitude and teach William a lesson. But he underestimates William's strength. Everyone present thought William had gone too far this time, and Lucas couldn't possibly survive such a brutal blow. However, to their astonishment, Lucas emerged completely unharmed from where he'd been struck into the rock, even launching a powerful counterattack against William. But William blocked this assault with an even stronger secret technique. Then, using his powers, William manifested a gigantic hand that slammed Lucas to the ground. At that moment, Anna sensed superpowered combat nearby and rushed toward the source of the conflict. When she arrived, she discovered it was Lucas who had been hiding his abilities fighting William. Seeing Lucas covered in dirt, Anna immediately knew he was getting the worst end of the fight.
钱把你们全部底牌都亮出来。
With Anna now backing him up, Lucas decided to unleash his full power. Instantly, his body became wreathed in lightning. William immediately recognized this as the lightning secret technique, something only the abbot of Dragon Tiger Mountain Monastery was supposed to practice. Throughout the entire monastery, besides Abbot Carson, only William had earned the right to learn this technique as the next successor. This made him utterly confused about how Lucas could know it. What surprised William even more was that Lucas's lightning was pure white, while his own contained traces of black, as if Lucas's version was the authentic one. Just as William considered taking Lucas Lucas down, Anna cleanly severed their lightning clash, thwarting his plan. Seeing Lucas sheltering behind Anna, William didn't dare make any rash moves. If Anna could so easily disrupt their lightning secret techniques, her power far surpassed theirs. Taking Lucas by force now seemed impossible, so William instead invited him to participate in the superpower tournament that Dragon Tiger Mountain Monastery would host in 2 months. The tournament winner would earn the right to choose any secret technique from the monastery to study. Only through this would the monastery acknowledge that Lucas's grandfather hadn't stolen their techniques. Otherwise, Lucas would face the monastery's full pursuit. But Lucas just wanted to live as an ordinary person and had no interest in the tournament. As he worried about this dilemma, a woman led his drunken self into her car. Erin first manifested her teleportation ability at just 3 years old. This ability allowed her to instantly travel to any place she desired. However, instead of feeling joyful about it, she became the laughingstock of her entire family because of this power. To earn her father Theodore's approval and potentially become the family's future heir, she deliberately learned a powerful martial art. By combining this martial art with her teleportation ability, her combat power could surge several times over. Despite all her efforts, she still couldn't gain Theodore's recognition. She was the only one in her family who hadn't awakened their hereditary superpower. And the reason was her inability to master spirit detainment. The spirit detainment ability enables the user to imprison powerful monster souls and strong spirits, using them to continuously boost their own strength. In battles, it allows the detained spirits to unleash their most formidable attacks from their lifetime. But the most unsettling aspect of this power is that it can instantly strip a living person's soul, turning them into a mindless shell. As a result, the whole family looked down on Erin's teleportation ability, and they abandoned any focused training on her from a young age. Even after more than 20 years, when she had grown into a powerful superpowered warrior, her father remained deeply dissatisfied with her. One day, her father suddenly assigned her a task, to invite a college student named Lucas to their home as a guest. Although she didn't understand why her father wanted to meet a mere student, she saw this as her first assigned duty in years and was determined to complete it. So, she had her driver take her to Lucas's school. However, before they could reach the campus, she spotted Lucas on the roadside, completely drunk. She then helped the intoxicated Lucas into the car. When Lucas woke up, he found himself in a massive swimming pool, with a beautiful woman sitting nearby. Being a virgin, he instantly felt embarrassed and quickly grabbed a bathrobe to cover himself. He then asked Erin why she had brought him there, but Erin has always detested men who drink excessively, and Lucas's first impression left her unimpressed. Without offering any explanation, she directly took him to meet her father. When Theodore met Lucas, he was surprisingly warm and enthusiastic. This attitude deeply confused Erin, who couldn't understand why her father was treating a stranger with such kindness. Lucas, for his part, was stunned to learn that the man who wanted to see him was none other than Theodore, the founder of the all-encompassing guild. Every superpowered individual knew that the guild's members were all exceptionally powerful. Theodore then revealed his intention. He wanted Lucas to join the all-encompassing guild. As an incentive, he offered Erin's hand in marriage, and even promised to support Lucas as a future guild leader. Faced with such a massive temptation, Lucas wasn't swayed. He understood the principle that the bigger the reward, the higher the cost. Without fully understanding Theodore's motives, he wasn't about to agree to anything. He then retreated to a lounge to enjoy the private massage services at Erin's family home. By now, Lucas realized he couldn't leave this place without Erin's or Theodore's consent, so he pretended the masseuse was unsatisfactory, and requested that Erin massage him personally, hoping to make Erin dislike him enough to throw him out herself. However, Lucas didn't know that Erin was already simmering with rage. Her father's decision to marry her off to Lucas without her consent made her feel like a pawn for the family's interests. While she could have begged her father to reconsider, she knew that doing so would cost her the hard-earned respect she had within the family. Consequently, she channeled all her fury onto Lucas during the massage. To her surprise, when his initial plan failed, Lucas deliberately vocalized her deepest insecurity, pointing out that she was being used as a bargaining chip by her own family. Just as Erin was about to lash out at him, someone arrived to report that a strange woman had broken into the estate and had wounded many of the guild's superpowered members. Lucas immediately realized it was Anna who had come for him and tried to seize the chance to find her. But Erin used her teleportation ability to instantly appear before him, landing a punch that sent him flying back. Meanwhile, Theodore also received news of the intrusion and immediately ordered Leo to handle the problem. Leo was another powerful superpowered individual with the ability to manipulate water, using it to attack his foes. Anyone hit by his power would find their body flooded with water. This internal water would eventually break down internal organs and dissolve blood, effectively allowing Leo to neutralize his enemies. What Leo didn't know, however, was that Anna was an anomaly among superpowered individuals, immune to any attacks from other superpowered individuals. To stop her fiancé from escaping, Erin used her superpower teleportation. However, to her surprise, Lucas actually used a protective secret art. Instantly, his body became enveloped in a golden light that blocked all her attacks. Yet this technique was purely defensive and couldn't be used for offense. Once Lucas's protective golden light faded, he immediately tried to flee the building. But Erin wasn't about to let him get away so easily. She needed Lucas to stay and help solidify her position within the family. Realizing that Erin wouldn't let him leave without a real fight, Lucas made a proposal. If he could withstand her attacks, she had to let him go. Otherwise, he'd stay to marry her and join the all-encompassing guild founded by her family. Confident in her own strength and given Lucas's earlier inability to counter her, Erin felt certain she could keep him there. But when she launched another assault, she discovered that Lucas was employing a lightning secret art, manipulating electricity to predict her moves and dodge every strike. It became clear he'd been hiding his true abilities all along. Only then did she understand why her father Theodore had chosen Lucas as her fiancé. Just as Lucas won and was about to exit the building, he suddenly turned back. He asked to add Erin as a friend and offered to introduce 2 other men for her to pick as a replacement fiancé. This instantly made Erin's anger peak, and she unleashed her superpower again, kicking Lucas off the building. Luckily, Lucas's protective art kept him completely unharmed from such a fierce blow. Down below, he spotted Anna, who had come searching for him, and noticed the injuries she'd sustained. He never imagined that Anna would have braved the all-encompassing guild headquarters alone just to find him. As they prepared to leave, Theodore suddenly stepped out. Lucas immediately voiced his wish to depart, but Theodore, dead set on recruiting him, wasn't going to let that happen easily. So, Theodore activated his family's powerful superpower, dispatch of detained spirits. An intense pressure from a dominant presence washed over them, and the demonic spirits Theodore had imprisoned revealed their terrifying fangs, as if ready to swallow Lucas whole. Knowing he couldn't resist Theodore, Lucas just stood there, waiting to see what came next, but to his astonishment, Theodore suddenly withdrew his superpower. As one of the 10 elders among superpower users, Theodore would not use his power to force a junior into submission. Moreover, he understood Lucas's importance. Rather than making an enemy of a weak junior now, it was better to gain a powerful ally for the future. Soon after, Anna brought Lucas to a hidden jungle to train his superpower. However, aside from the secret arts taught by his grandfather, Lucas knew nothing of his family's inherited super abilities. Suddenly, Anna pressed her forehead against his. In an instant, his family's inherited secret technique, the farmer technique, was transmitted directly into his mind. Anna possessed this knowledge because Lucas's grandfather, John, had entrusted her with this task on his deathbed. With no time left to teach Lucas himself, he begged Anna to pass the farmer technique to Lucas when the day came that he needed it. Unlike other techniques that could be mastered quickly, this one required the practitioner to cultivate it like a farmer tending crops, demanding patience and persistent effort. If Lucas could master it completely, he would become immune to all attacks from superpower users. Furthermore, if he wished, he could permanently strip others of their super abilities, as the farmer technique was derived from the purest dark matter, capable of merging with or absorbing other dark matter. Although Lucas now had the method, he couldn't yet use it skillfully and needed Anna's continued guidance. But to his surprise, Anna announced she was going to bathe, leaving him to ponder it alone, and she began slipping off her clothes right in front of him. Lucas immediately scolded her, asking if she had no concept of social boundaries. What he didn't know was that Anna genuinely didn't understand what he meant. She lacked knowledge of social customs and how to interact with people. She had also lost her past memories and only knew her name was Anna. But what Lucas could never have imagined was that Anna first appeared in the world's sight 6 decades ago, discovered in a tunnel.